So Danny Flexent here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by highly respected trainer Joe Gallagher. Joe, before we go into 2020 and what a strange year it's been, how long have you been back from the States? Are you kind of comfortably back? Jet lag thing of the past yet?
No, there's we arrived back on what day are we on today?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, we arrived back on Monday. Stayed up all day. Thought he'd cracked it. Good night's sleep Monday. Then Tuesday crashed 6 o'clock in the evening. Slept wide awake all last night. So yeah, not got over the jet lag yet. Struggling with it. So yeah, been back since Monday.
How's Callum? Not just emotionally, but how's his arm as well?
Yeah, his MRI scan, I think it was yesterday, and he's just waiting on the results of it and waiting to hear from him to see what happens. In America, they'll talk about some type of surgery, but first of all, just waiting to see if it'll go down. But we're just waiting to hear from him anyway and see what's said of that. But like anything, the whole team, we're all gutted. We all thought we had a great chance of having the win. I think it was round 4. I read Russ's Colin Russ Amber was in the corner with me. He said, I remember in round 4, Callum saying about his arm, and just getting worse. And I remember Crawler saying to me after round 7, "You all right? You happy?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not." It's like, here we are in the biggest fight of life, and the arm's gone early, and it's just, we've seen the best Canelo, but we didn't see the best Callum Smith. But listen, take a fight, 30 days notice. Fair play to Canelo, brilliant fight. I said it'd be the best of him. Callum rolled the dice, and sometimes it comes in. This time it didn't. Went the distance, and that was it. He was good. It's the first time he's lost since 2011. I think tried to qualify for the Olympics in 2012. So yeah, it hit him bad on the night. He was devastated, but he's home now and he's with his missus and his young daughter, and I'm sure being with him, he can switch off of boxing now for a good while and decide what he wants to do.
It's fair to say 2020, you haven't had a great deal of good luck on your side. You've seen, obviously, Natasha Jonas. A lot of people thought she defeated Harper at fight camp, but only got a draw. Hosea Burton, of course, had to go to Latvia for his semi-final of the Golden Contract, which was far from ideal. And a lot of your fighters have struggled to get dates as well this year, as many fighters around the world have.
Yeah, no, definitely. Listen, at the beginning of the year, I put my show on, M22 Promotions. We had a great show in a Withing show. Sam Hyde was involved in a great small hall classic for a British title, final eliminating English title with Dion Juma. And that was a close fight. Could have gone either way. I think it's 115, 113. So that was a great fight to start the year and a great show. Obviously, Marcus Morrison, I think, fought on that and won. And then obviously we had Scott Quigg, obviously in March. Callum Johnson was due to fight for the European title, and that didn't happen. And then lockdown happened. We came back out of lockdown. Me, like everyone else in boxing and general public, knew Natasha Jonas won that fight, didn't get the decision. Then there was the MTK gold contract. Also, we had to go to Latvia. I don't know why, when both semi-finals could happen in Latvia, but listen, he didn't perform there, and that was the undoing. And like you say, who else is that? Paul Butler had a win. Callum Johnson's European title fight didn't happen. Then his fight at Bawatsi in December didn't happen. Liam Smith didn't manage to get out this year. Tasha Jonas didn't get a job out. Yeah, so like you say, and then obviously Callum Smith did manage to fight. And like I said, when the fight was announced, huge credit to him. He could have said, no, we'll wait till there's a bigger crowd, wait till I have more notice, but he didn't. He rolled the dice. So that's 2020 out of the way. And 2021, let's go. We've got, like I say, Liam Smith wanting that world title shot or world title final eliminator type of fight. Paul Butler the same. Natasha Jonas. When you look at the performances recently of Choi the other night, that's a world title for Natasha Jonas. We can get our hands on that for her. Rematch with Terry Harper. There's a fight with Katie Taylor. Callum Johnson. Her stock has risen in 2020 without fighting on the last two performances of Anthony Yarde and Josh Bawatsi. Just proves that without a shadow of doubt, he's the number one light heavyweight in the country, and he'll be looking to make a mark in 2021. It was some big fights, and Marcus Morrison. So looking forward to 2021, and like I said, what a mad year. And we're going to 2021 with a lot of hope, and that crowds will come back. Boxing shows will try and get back to a sense of normality. We know with the corona testing going on and with these restrictions and tiers, it's very hard for small hall fights to carry on, and the logistics of it and testings and bubbles and hotels, we can't afford that. But as soon as lockdown is over and the tiers have lifted and we can get back to some semblance of normality with a crowd, I'm sure the likes of myself, Carl Greaves, Steve Goodwin, Steve Wood, will all be out here and Fowler all out there wanting to put shows on in small hall boxing. I think boxing has lost an awful lot of fighters this year. I think there's an awful lot that won't come back to boxing. They've had to go and get jobs and survive and bring a source of income another way. And that's just not boxers, but trainers and managers and promoters. So 2021, we'll see where boxing is. It's been good that Frank and Mick Hennessy and Eddie Hearn have got it together, but it's a huge strain on the British Boxing Board of Control to have the personnel to be able to keep up with the testings and everything for these fights. And we've seen shows with Lawrence Okoli's world title fight not happen and other fights not happen. And it's hard to do a show and you have all the best intentions of the world, but then you're ready for your show on a Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and 2 or 3 kids could come off the bill with testing and your show's gone, it's knackered. So it's testing times, but hopefully, please God, we come through it. I hope we do, but I don't see it. I do feel this has got to carry on for a while longer yet still.
As difficult as it is to extract positives from this year, is one of them that finally everyone around the country is now aware of what you already knew about Natasha Jonas, that she is a world-class professional fighter?
Yeah, you don't become a bad fighter overnight. Natasha Jonas, obviously, Commonwealth Games, World Championships, bronze medal, Olympian. You don't become a bad fighter overnight. She had a good career. She had the one slip up. But she acquitted herself very well in a world title performance. Like I said to you, the boxing news, everyone in the panel the week after, all Natasha winning, everyone in the boxing spoke to Natasha winning. The only ones that I thought that who think that Terry won is Terry and Steffi Bull. But that's not the case. And as you've seen the other night, if you would have watched it, Sky Sports Mix, the documentary Natasha on the Judy Murray driving forces, Natasha's story from beginning to where she is now of a football career apprenticeship and had been ruined with injury and everything and the struggles that she had to go through in boxing, and then having Jane Couch involved and Sebastian Coe, Lord Coe on the documentary, talk about Natasha, telling about how it is. And like Natasha says, they're moving forward and they carry on the good work that Jane Couch is going, and the hope there that the barriers and the wage difference and the money difference and the opportunities for them changes now for the next generation of girls that are coming through, for the young Dubois and the next lot of girls that are coming through, which there's like 5 or 6 that are national champions on my academy, and there's girls in amateur gyms up and down the country, and it's just about now trying to get the equality in pay. I'm not saying the same as males, but they need to be paid significantly more, and that's something that Natasha feels strongly about.
Outside of your own stable, who would you pick out as your British Fighter of the Year?
Wow. British Fighter of the Year. Well, obviously Tyson Fury's performance against Deontay Wilder was very good. No one expected that. I think that's very hard to beat. But I was hugely impressed with Josh Taylor in a lockdown situation, coming back, defending his world titles against a mandatory, a tough fight, and taking care of business that he did. I think both them fighters, they're both ring champions. And I think for a British point of view, I think they're the 2 standout performances this year. It's very hard to split them. Obviously, Tyson for taking on the dangerous heavyweight, Deontay Wilder, who had reigned for 5 years. It came back from the draw and just went in and put a masterclass on. And the way Josh Taylor performed it in his defence, he was just short and sweet. So it's very hard to split them. If you were to push me, I'd much rather edge with Tyson Fury, with Josh Taylor well-deserved second.
And then in terms of International Fighter of the Year, a lot of people picked out Teofimo Lopez after that great victory over Lomachenko. but you've now seen Canelo up close for the second time. Does that change your views, or were you high on Lopez to begin with?
Yeah, I think that, listen, what Teofimo Lopez went and did against Lomachenko was brilliant. No one expected, and they had huge belief, him and his dad, and they went in and did it all. But I'd have to go with Canelo, only for the fact that he's been out for the year. He'd just come from 175 from beating Kovalev, and then went in with the number one in Callum Smith. And I did say before it, this is the best Canelo we're going to see. He's motivated, he used it as a test. And that performance the other night, Callum Smith acquitted himself well, but Canelo just showed what a great fighter he is. And to have gone through everyone, all the weight divisions, it was a ring belt versus a ring belt fight. There's only been 20 of them in the history, 100 years history. And for him to do that, last time there was a fight like that, it was Canelo Mayweather. Mayweather beat Canelo, so I'm sure it was sweet revenge for Canelo to be involved in that type of fight, the magnitude of it, and to come out the winner this time. And yeah, I'd have to say Canelo. I know most people will say he'll slag me because of Lomachenko. I think what I was put on is most probably Lomachenko coming out with the arm injury afterwards. Do you understand? If there was nothing about an arm injury and it was a full-on Lomachenko, and it was still even close on that. Yeah, but I just have to say Canelo me.
Apart from a healthier version of Callum Smith, who do you see as the biggest threat to Canelo out there at the moment?
I think Billy Joe is stylistically wise a good fight for Canelo. It isn't necessarily having someone bigger or stronger or punch harder. When you study Canelo, for a thing of Canelo, the people who beat him, Mayweather, Cotto gave a good performance against him. It's people, Triple G, people similar height of him, good jabs. He always had problems with jabs, good jabs. Big people, he has problems with. It's bread and butter money for him. You've seen that when I was with Kovalev and Chavez and Rocky Fielding. So some of that, it's fight-wise, people say Bitabiev because he can punch, but I'm not sure about that. Callum Johnson would love a rematch with Bitabiev and fancies the chances against him next time. I think he was just lacking that belief, and when the opportunity came in the fight and he landed, he never took it. It'd be a great fight. But I think Billy Joe's got a good chance. Who else? Just let me try to think. Benavidez has got speed of hand. Caleb Plant has got movement, but I just think Canelo's too much for Plant. I think Benavidez most popular. I'm not saying he'd win, but most will be do well with him. But I just think Canelo is just the level you move him up, he just adapts. Yeah. Selfishly, I know people screaming, I'd love to put Callum Johnson in with him. I think Callum Johnson's got a great boxing IQ. I think it's size-wise, it's similar. Won't be afraid to have the exchanges. I think that's a good stylistic fight. There's not that many out there, and to beat him has got to take a very special fighter. And I don't think there is that special fighter out there to beat him. There's a few that I've named that would mostly be causing problems to an extent, but Canelo's very good at solving out the problem.
Now, as a fan, or at least a neutral observer, what's the best fight you've seen in 2020?
Wow. I think the fight last week on the Top Rank show, just Fajardo and the
Nakatani.
What a fight. Now, I know Banachek and them have been voted the fight of the year for the 5 knockdown, up, down thriller. And it was great. But I thought that was right up there last weekend. I thought it was a brilliant fight. And that'd be my fight of the year, that one.
Yeah, I think they were both incredible fights. No one can really pick between the two. So I think that's fair enough. What are your biggest hopes for 2021? Is it just boxing getting back to normal, or have you got specific things you want for all the members of your stable?
I think both things, really. I think for boxing to try and get to some back normality. It's great that the boxing's back again. It was great to see a bit of a crowd there. It was great to be in San Antonio at the weekend and have 12-14,000 again. although listening to boos, I'd either listen to cheers, but it was still great to have a crowd in there. So just that really, and just boxing and the restrictions and everyone to work together. I think we are in difficult times and there is fights that we want to see. And I think we all have to work together. And I think TV companies have got to... There's a big cake there for everybody. And I do feel they've got to give... Just because some fighters aren't with some promoters, they do have to start giving a slice of the pie. I think there's good fighters there that are not being used by TV promoters that aren't getting the airtime. I do feel Sky has to go back possibly to how it was before. Matchroom have some dates. Other promoters have a couple of dates. Years ago, it was like Matchroom, Hatton, Maloney, them type of things. And I do feel to say, okay, then we'll give a few, Sky will give Friday night fights to that promoter and a couple to that promoter. And just even if it give small hole promoters, say, for instance, Carl Greaves 2 fights a year, 2 Fridays a year, me 2 Fridays a year, Steve Woods 2 Fridays a year. Eddie Hearn's still got his big Saturday fight nights, but we're seeing how popular Wednesday night shows were, so we could do next year. Steve Woods has got a stable of fighters, as has Steve Goodwin, as has Carl Greaves, myself, and use them Wednesday nights for them, bit of small hole, do you understand? And the same with BT or the same with Channel 5, instead of being exclusive Mick Hennessy or exclusive Frank Warren, and have Wednesday night midweeks for the small hole fighters, and any bit of money passed down to help the small kids bubbling coming through that were getting to 8-0, 10-0, 12-0, but the promoters don't have the money to put them into them central area title, English title fights. And I think by making central area title, southern area title fights, northern area title fights, or Celtic, Celtic title fights, English title fights, them type of shows could flourish because they're the next ones to start being a name, get televised, and most probably bring back a prize fighter format on a Wednesday night for them kids that are 6 and 8-0s. I think prize fighter is a great idea and is the right time to have that type of format. But like you say, people could pull out and everything else. But I just like it all to be spread a little bit more. And there's a lot of good fighters that we could lose to the sport. And there is good fighters out there. They not all have to be big personalities and be with certain fighters. I do feel it's let everybody have a bit of the share of the pie and give a few dates to a few small hole promoters.
Before we let you go, it's been kind of distracting me for the last few minutes. Whose birthday is it?
Whose birthday?
Yeah, behind you.
Oh, right. No. Yeah. No, that was the other day. That's before I went away. They haven't took him down that. Yeah, that was the day before I took him away that. Yeah. So, no, yeah. So, yeah, that's it.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we wish you a very good festive season, a well-deserved break, hopefully, from the gym. I hope you're not straight back in the gym on Boxing Day. No,
listen, there's the dates looking to try and get a break, but there's hopefully got to be dates January, February for a few of the fighters. And like you say, we're going to have a good 21. And it's been a tough time this year. It was great to end in a year with big shows with Triple G, Joshua, Callum Smith, Canelo. We just want to carry that on now. And it's just a shame we didn't see. It was great to see Joyce Dubois in these circumstances, Josh Taylor. It's just a shame that we didn't see a Josh Warrington, a Tyson Fury. And let's hope at the beginning of 2021 we have them big names out at the beginning of the year. And just reiterate everything that I've just said. Let's give a few of the grassroots fighters, the prospects coming through, a platform.
Great stuff. Well, yeah, have a great Christmas, Joe, and happy
and you, Denny, all the best. Yeah, happy Christmas. Yeah, happy Christmas and a great, let's hear to a healthy and a better 2021.
Good stuff. Thanks, Joe. Take care.